Hello everyone. In this third chapter, we will see how to insert text on our page. Indeed, in the previous chapters, we have seen the basic structure of a web page and how to create our first page. Yes, well, we know how to create a blank page, and, in this state, it is not likely to hold the attention of internet users. So the most important thing is the texts. The texts will serve as dialogues between you, what you want to say, and the people who will visit your site. Generally, when we write text, we insert it in a paragraph. Well, the HTML has exactly the tag to create them. This tag is P, between angle brackets, P like, paragraph. Let's see an example of using this marker. The first tag indicates the beginning of the paragraph, and the last, the end of it. What is between these two tags will be taken as the text to be displayed, and treated as such by the host browser. As I specified in the previous chapter, everything that must be displayed on your page must be encoded between the two tags, body. So let's open our text editor, and the basic code we created in the previous lesson. Let's add our first paragraph to it, starting it with the P tag, and ending it with the /P tag. And write a short text between these two markers. Now, let's save our tests, for example in test1.html. Don't forget the UTF-8 format without BOM. Normally, if you had used it well when creating the base code and saving it, this will be done automatically. Indeed, text editors read this format when they open a saved file, to know how to display it, and uses this same format by default, when saving this file. Anyway, now let's open our test in our browser. Indeed, the text placed between the tags is indeed displayed in the first line, that is, at the top and on the left, in our browser. Good, but our text will not consist of a single sentence. We are going to do a second test, in which you will find that displaying text in a browser does not work exactly like in a text editor. To do this, let's go back to our editor, and modify the content between the paragraph tags, with a slightly longer text, and composed of at least 3 sentences, as in this example. To understand, use the Enter key at the end of the first and second sentence. Now, let's open this new code in our browser, and see the result. If you remember the previous chapter, we have the same problem as if we were displaying a document in standard text format. Indeed, the 3 lines are written one after the other, despite the use of the Enter key when creating our code. Well, yes, the Enter key, used as a line break in a standard text editor, has no effect on text in a browser. It is therefore useless to use it in the creation of text for a website. Yes, madam, but I would still like to have line breaks in my display, because a text as is not attractive, and even off-putting. There, we agree, so we will use a series of paragraph tags, to split our text, by writing each part in a pair of tags, which will be placed one after the other. So let's modify our example like this. Then, let's test it in our browser. This is already a little better, but I hear you saying to me, Madam, I only want a line return, and not a line break. Indeed, displaying a series of paragraphs causes a line break between each. As in a book, because we are talking about paragraphs here. But, as the HTML is well done, there is a tag that will give this command to your browser. This marker is the orphan tag, BR. BR as break, or split. This tag must imperatively be placed inside tags defining text. Let's do a test with our example, and place a BR tag in the first paragraph, at the end of the first line. Of course, you can use the Enter key after this marker to display the continuation on the next line of your editor, just to clear up your code, because it will not affect the display in any way in your browser. But, to prove my point, put the second sentence directly after the BR tag. Now let's see the result in the browser. Indeed, the first sentence is indeed displayed on the first line, the second, on the following line, and the third, after the second, but with a line break. So, for now, we have seen how to insert text using P tags, how to make a line break with the BR tag, and how to write paragraphs using a series of P tags. Be careful, do not use the BR tag at all costs, especially not to make a line break. Of course, this will happen if you put two BR tag in a row, but that is not their use. It should only be used for a line return. To make a line break, use the P tags. For information, using the CSS language that we will see later, it will be possible to define the space between paragraphs. So, for now, we'll just create the paragraphs, because remember, HTML for the content, and CSS for the formatting. Good, now we know how to write the text, let's see how to add the titles. Indeed, all pages must include titles, such as the main name of your page, the names of the different inserts, the titles and subtitles in the texts, etc. Then, know that the HTML language will offer us 6 different levels of titles. Whoa, that's going to be a bunch of tags to remember, right? Well, no. The defining tags of the title are, like the paragraph tags, tags in pairs, and are called, from H1 to H6. Here they are. H1 defines a very important title, and generally, the main title of your page. H2 defines an important title, often used for the title of inserts. H3 defines a slightly less important title, such as a paragraph title or a subtitle. H4 defines an even less important title. H5 defines an unimportant title. And H6, a title not important at all. For the moment, and if we do a test, we will find that our browser will enlarge our text according to the heading level used. So let's do this test, adding before the first paragraph of our example, each time the pair of tags H, from 1 to 6, with between them, each time the same small text. Our code should now look like this. Open it in our browser. And we will see that the first 6 lines, the different titles, are indeed displayed from largest to smallest. Well, you will find that we will generally use the titles of levels 1 to 3, and very rarely the following levels. Be careful not to confuse type H title tags, which are used in the content, the body, of your page, and the title tags, which are used in the header of your site, the head, and define the name of your page, displayed in the navigation tab. In short, let's now do a little exercise to properly locate, understand, and use the tags we have just seen. So, in your text editor, create a code on the following model. I intentionally added comments to explain the different tags. Then save this exercise as test2.html, and let's open it in our browser. There is already progress. But, madam, I want my main title to be green, and centered on the page, my paragraph titles to be blue, and so on. Of course, we are only at the beginning of our learning process, and you must remember that HTML for the content and CSS for the form. We must first create the framework of our page, with its content, titles, texts, images, etc., before formatting them with CSS. Be patient, it will come. Just remember that tags define what they contain, and that by default, so without formatting with CSS, it's your browser that will decide how to display this or that content. Also, the more a tag will have importance, such as h1, we will see that there are other tags that give importance to a text, the more what they frame will have importance to search engines. So, in this chapter, we've seen how we can pre-structure text into paragraphs and line wrap, as well as add various levels of headings to our web page. In the next chapter, we will see how we can highlight certain words, or part of a sentence, and how we can create lists. Thank you for your attention. Katerina and Patrick.